What is going on, everybody else? I'm gonna be playing with hips and upper legs a little bit right now. And so this may help to alleviate low back pain, knee tension, just kind of help the legs to feel a little bit more grounded. So for it, you will need foam roller and some blankets. And so we'll get started with the foam rolling. And again, as always, with foam rolling, we're not necessarily like looking to dig anything out. We do just kind of want to wake up those muscles a little bit. And so if you have a short foam roller like this, you'll have to do one leg at a time. If you've got one of the bigger, longer ones, you can get on it with both legs. And so just let yourself kind of start by doing the front of the thigh, just rolling forward and back here. Nothing wild. And if you have a different foam rolling practice, feel free to just kind of pop in and do that. And you want to rock from side to side, getting all that area, all of that surface area. Just kind of massaging and seeing where is the tension? Where is it built up? You can even kind of flex the muscles in the quads and then relax them as you do this. That can sometimes feel quite nice. Yeah. And then as you're ready, swap sides. Right? It doesn't have to be very long. Right? And you might notice different levels of intensity from one side to the other. All of that can change from day to day and from side to side. And so just notice, where are you holding tension? Is it too much? Is it too extreme? Do you need to go a little bit easier? Just rocking around from side to side. Just asking yourself as you're doing it, is this good to me? Is this effective for me? Does this serve me? Right. And so once we're done with those, we're going to switch to the inner thighs. And so foam roller comes off here to the side. And then place the knee on the side of the foam roller. You're just going to roll out towards the groin and then back in. Out towards the groin and then back in. And you can even extend the leg. And then, as much as you can, internally and externally rotate the leg as you rock forward and out and back. Going back and forth. You might notice more tension here, less tension here. Just listen, notice. And then as you're ready, go to the other side. I'm going to flip around so that way foam roller's facing you all. And then that knee goes on the foam roller. Just letting that foam roller roll up towards the groin and then back down. You're just taking care of yourself, right? If this is too intense for you, skip it, right? You don't have to do it. And extend the leg if you want. Getting some of that internal and external rotation in the legs. All right. And then coming to the outsides of the thighs. Foam roller goes here. This one's kind of a tricky setup, so you're extending one leg underneath you. The top leg is bracing on the floor, and then come down onto the forearm, and just kind of rolling out that IT band side of things. And again, getting into some of that internal and external rotation, kind of wiggling the leg from side to side, opening things up a little bit there. And then as you're ready, swapping sides. And just massaging through that tissue, or rolling through that tissue rather. Getting as much as you possibly can. And then as you are ready, coming off the foam roller, I always like to roll out my calves too, just because there can sometimes be a lot of tension down there, so foam roller comes down to the ground. One leg goes onto the calf, one leg goes onto the foam roller, and just rolling back and forth here. Taking a little bit of time there. And then rolling that foam roller up and getting to the bottom of the thigh. Again, that internal and external rotation can feel quite good, and you might notice different points of tension along the leg. Just warming up the leg. And then go to the opposite side. Rolling through the foam. Just notice where all that tension is. Where it's coming in at, what it's doing. And does this motion serve you? Let that foam roller come up to the thigh. Internal and external rotation as you roll through that hamstring. Alright. And then when that feels good, taking that foam roller away, setting it aside, and grabbing your blankets or whatever else that you have. Blankets, towels will also work. And we're going to start just by bringing that underneath us, and we're just going to lay back on it. Right, so just letting our hips rest here. If you want to, and you have access to a block and a strap, or a thick book and a scarf, whatever it is that you have, feel free to grab that. Right, and block and strap the legs. That can sometimes help to create a little bit of stability and support here. And just take a couple of moments to breathe. We're just coming into kind of a grounded and a centered, embodied space. Because sometimes we get in our heads that we have to do. But really, when we let go, stuff tends to fall in line. And it doesn't mean that we don't take action. It means that we act from a different place. And we want to act from that embodied space where we're really tuned into, is this useful to me? Is this not useful? Hita ahita. And just feel into the breath. There's going to be all kinds of thoughts that bubble up as you rest. Let them come. It's not about having no mind. It's just about recognizing what's happening now. And as always, with any video that I do or any session that I lead, always, if it hurts when you're doing it, stop doing it. Right? It's always finding the range of motion that's comfortable, the range of motion that's easy. And we don't want to push into pain. And we're going to start by playing with the pelvis a little bit. Just going to imagine the pubic bone drawing upwards, not even imagining, just letting the pubic bone draw upwards towards the belly, and then relaxing it down. Pubic bone moves up towards the belly, and then relaxes back down. So just moving in this way a couple of times, noticing what you notice. If you notice yourself pushing, if you notice yourself gripping a whole bunch in the legs or in the chest or in the neck and the shoulders, maybe make a smaller motion. Right? There'll be some abdominal gripping that happens here. Gripping might not be the right word, more like tension that builds up, because we do need those lower abdominals to help rotate, or to tuck the pelvis. And then let yourself rest after that. Give yourself a moment to completely relax. So sometimes those legs can start to grip and hold on to tension, especially if they're not supported by the block and the strap. So maybe you want to try this later on with a block and a strap, a book and a scarf, or whatever it is that you have. A cat. No, I don't think a cat would take too kindly to being stuck and trapped between your two legs. And we're just going to come back into that motion again, letting the pelvis tuck forward, and then relax. Pubic bone moves forward, and then relaxes. Forward, and relax. Forward, and relax. And do it on your own time. And just noticing where can you make the same motion but with less effort. Can you do the same thing but less intensely? Right? Part of our zeitgeist is that we go hard all the time. We work hard, we play hard. And that doesn't really give us a lot of rest. So giving ourselves this moment of ease, suppleness, of not grasping, that can change things in the body and in the mind. And then as you're ready, just letting yourself rest once more. Notice if tension accumulated anywhere else in the body. Sometimes it comes up into the shoulders. Again, it will come into the legs sometimes. So just notice what relaxes whenever you stop. Take just a few more breaths. And then as you're ready, that pelvis starts to tuck once more. And if another part of your body did get tense that you noticed relaxing last time, see if you can tune into that part of your body as you make these movements. So if it was the shoulders, pay attention to the shoulders. If it was the neck or anywhere else, just notice what's going on there as you make this movement. Can you keep those other areas of the body soft? Can you let the movement just come from the pelvis? You might even notice the head nodding. If you notice the head nodding, you're moving a little bit too much. Can you let the head be easy as you work more functionally in the pelvis? And you do that by only tucking the pelvis as far as you can without moving the head, without feeling that tension in the neck or the shoulders or the legs. And then relaxing. You notice how all of that feels. Taking a few breaths just to soften and settle into the ground. Wiggling through the toes a little bit, wiggling through the legs. If you're comfortable here, feel free to stay here, right? You don't have to move, right? But if you are interested in going to the next part, and if it serves you to do it, just be on your knees, because that's where we're going, then feel free to join me. But if your knees are super injured and it hurts you to be on your knees like this, you can use a blanket, which can sometimes soften things. But even then, if that's still too much, skip it entirely, right? Pain plus pain doesn't equal being better, right? You want that softness, you want that resiliency to kind of spread in the body. And so when you're in this position, just allow one leg to come over, so that way you're in this kneeling position. And that same motion that we just did on the floor where we're tucking the pelvis, we're just gonna do that here. Just gonna tuck the pelvis and you're gonna notice that thigh engage. You can just hold on to this and breathe. And take a couple breaths like this, holding that pelvis in that tucked position. You can even kind of rock forward and back a little bit if you think that's calling to you today. So just moving forward and back. Noticing how that feels on the thigh, the hip flexor. And then coming down and shifting sides, switching sides whenever you're ready. Right, so you set yourself up in this position, tuck the tailbone under, and just let yourself rock forward and back. And if you notice strain or anything, just take a moment and just reset. Right, there's sometimes a tingling sensation that pops up in this knee for me, so I'm just gonna play here for a moment. Just gonna play with that tucking of the tailbone. Right, I'm not gonna rock forward and back just yet. And so just taking a few moments just to check in with the body. What do you need? What level of involvement do you need to be in with this? And again, if it hurts, don't do it. And once you feel like that might be all right to move a little bit more, feel free to rock forward and back. Okay. And then as you're ready, coming down, I'm going to roll up my blanket so I can sit on it. But you can sit right on the floor if that's comfortable for you. Just going to come into bring the feet together. Right, and just in this position, just using the legs to push the knees downward towards the floor. Right, this old butterfly that we used to do in elementary school, you know, where we were just pumping the legs up and down. There was a reason we did it. So just allowing yourself to push those knees towards the floor. Noticing what tension accumulates in the inner thighs, the groin, if there's any. You might notice some pulling on the outsides of the legs. Right? Sometimes that's those muscles that are helping to draw the knees downward. Right? But if you notice pain, stop. Right? That means that something may not be firing appropriately. And so just allowing these knees to move downwards and up. Just noticing what you notice. If you want to, you can even lean a little bit over the legs as you push, and that might create more of a stretching sensation, but it's not about the stretching feeling, it's about the functional movement of the legs. Right? Can you feel the legs move without tension accumulating anywhere else in the body? Right? Does the low back hurt as you do this? If it does, maybe this isn't for you. As you push the legs downward, is there somewhere else in the body that seems like it's helping? And so just notice, and see what you can do to move in a small enough range of motion where nothing else is affected, where it's just the legs that move. And then allowing yourself to just rest and notice, maybe shaking things out a little bit, wiggling. And then just coming into a comfortable seat for a moment. And tune in with the breath, tune in with your body. And a comfortable seat can be anything. You can be on the knees, you can be stand up, move back to the couch, the stool, wherever it is that you want to go. You can even lay back down on the floor. Just take a moment to tune in. Notice how all of that affected you. And so thanks for joining me with that. I hope it was useful to you. If you have any thoughts or observations, comments, or questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Always like hearing the things that you have to say and the questions that you have, and that helps me to create more content based on the things that you say. So it would be useful to me for you to share your thoughts and opinions. Thank you so much. Be well, everybody.